What up, what up? This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I am your host, Ace Harris, and I'm here with two very special people today. First, I'm going to start off with my A&R Dre Hunter in the building.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Director of A&R.
Yes, man. Thank you for inviting me.
Newly promoted. I've been knowing Dre for about 5-6 years. He's worked at Reach for about 2 years. We're probably going to let him tell his full story, but yeah. Shout out Dre. Also, Detroit's finest, this brother right here, you know what I'm saying? You may have heard about them demon killing, you know what I'm saying? Demon Killer Gang. Okay. You may have seen him on Instagram going viral. I mean, this guy, I ain't gonna lie, Dre, thank you for putting me on to him, absolutely. But DKG.KIE is in the building. Y'all give it up for him. You know
What's going on, man? What's going on?
This is, it's gonna be a dope conversation, man. First of all, how you feeling? How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm great. It's surreal being here right now.
Hey, I love that, man. You ain't gonna lie, you dripped out, bro.
I appreciate it.
Let me hold something, bro. Man, you got us looking like we, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm like,
do we work every week or what?
That's the Detroit in me, man. We gotta step all the time.
Y'all be popping it, huh?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Low key, I don't know if it's right to say, because I do watch a show that's probably not all the way.
Yeah.
You know, BMF show kind of hard.
Going,
it's hard. I'm sorry.
Going,
some of the scenes I watch on my wife, y'all, so don't judge me. Okay? Some of the scenes is not, I wouldn't endorse it. But this the swagger of like Detroit culture.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Atlanta so much. It's like a real like fly, like it's street, but like savvy.
Yeah.
Because that's where Detroit player originated from, right? Yeah, okay. So y'all have always been about fashion and style.
Like we was popping out, like, well, I wasn't, but back then, like my parents was popping out Gators and you know, the minks and all that. Like, and then even like the Cartiers is a staple in Detroit. Like a lot of people don't really know that for real. So, but no, like Cartiers is a staple. Like it's just because of, I guess, like the flashy frames and all that.
Right.
But like you said, it's still like it's savvy though.
Savvy.
I can wear these with a suit if I want.
Yeah,
to.
it's like it's like a smooth gangster. It's like
exactly.
I got that thing on me, but I'm dressed really fly too. Though. So don't make me have to pull it out.
Yeah.
It's certain like swag I feel. I'm like I can rock with Detroit. And also I want to have you, Dre, share a little bit about where you from, man, because I know some of y'all probably have seen Dre on the Reach channels or around me or in doing his thing, but I think it'll be good to also let people know the people who work behind the scenes, and it's also a cool connection with how I got introduced to DKG through Dre. So yeah, Dre, just share a little bit about your backstory. We're gonna spend most of the time talking about KIE, but I'm gonna get you out the way, slick.
Let's do it. Yeah, so I'm from Miami, Florida. I moved up to Atlanta. When I was about probably like 10. We came up here, and then I moved all around Atlanta, so I was all over. So I from College Park to Gwinnett.
You was in College Park? I'm in College Park now.
Yeah, I landed in College Park. Like when we first came, and if you know Atlanta, you come in College Park, you about to hear the accent strong.
Bro, it's crazy.
You're gonna get the shouty, you know what I mean? So we came from Miami to Atlanta in College Park, and it was like a culture shock. And then from there, we moved to Gwinnett. Now that's a whole nother
I was raised in Gwinnett, so
wow. so it was a whole nother dynamic. It was like College Park, you get the strong Atlanta accent, then you go to Gwinnett, and then it's like diversified over there. And then we landed back in Lithonia, and then that's where I was raised on the east side of Atlanta.
East side.
That's where a lot of my like culture came from.
Right.
A lot of my musical taste came from the east side of Atlanta. It was a lot of like young superstars that was kind of coming out of there. I remember like people being on like one of my friends was on The Voice, and another one was like, I forgot the guy's name, but it was like, he was on the radio, and I remember just, you know, seeing all these guys that I grew up with just kind of blowing up. And it kind of got me excited about the music industry. I started a songwriting group with a guy named Olu. Olu. And I think Olu's mom met your
shout out God, bro.
Was it
Olu's mom met my cousin's wife's at a bank my cousin's wife, Mima, no, it'd be shout out Mima, does taxes for like Olu's wife. Yeah. And normally when family members pass you music connections, it'd be trash. Yeah. I was producing at the time, and I got I think a CD of some of y'all's work as writers, and I was like, yo, they fire. So we tapped in. This is like 8 years ago, I feel 9 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 8-9 years ago. We were writing. We actually went out of town and did a record, and you called us while we were still like coming back to Georgia. We were super excited, and then that started our relationship. We started getting to know each other more. I started moving around the scene a little more. I got into this situation where I started A&R. It was like not really A&R.
Yeah,
but,
it was.
It was kind of like I call it street A&R, where I found some talent and decided to just take them in and literally worked on that project for 4 years for free.
Wow.
Never charged for studio time.
Y'all hear that? All the aspiring A&Rs. If you want an A&R, nobody's stopping you.
Nobody's stopping you.
You ain't got to have a title. Ace ain't got to validate you. KIE ain't got to validate you. Dre ain't got to.
Nope.
If God validates you, go find artists and help them make great music.
Exactly. And
it really is that simple.
It's really that simple. But at the time, it was like I was doing it because a friend of mine was in the group. It was a group named Hamilton Park. They were signed with Andre Harrell. They just left their deal like a year before I got them. And then me and Marcus was a part of the group. We went to a young lady by the name of Joy Young. Who's now at Interscope. And she helped manage the group.
Right.
I was A&R in the group.
I remember those times. I had some, and then also like, kind of fast forward how Dre's here at Reach Record and how he introduced us to KIE. Dre was like writing as a writer all around the city, not necessarily Christian stuff, but just being a dope creative. And I called Dre to work on Wanda's first single, Blessed Up, which Dre actually wrote on a whim. We won't have time to get into that story, but let's just say that was a God moment. And then that song went up, and then once we had to open it to hire a new A&R, 2 years ago, I brought Dre on board, and he's had a really dope. I would say honestly, you can probably affirm it, like a dope spiritual transformation.
Absolutely, and
just being around other Christians who don't look like how the world projected them in the past, and he's just been an advocate here. I mean, he's been killing it. And one thing about Dre, shout out to all the up and coming artists. I'm gonna say this too, because I know people be asking me all the time. Reach Records is not the standard. We just a reference point. We can't sign everybody. We love y'all. We tap in with people who we think are dope, and we want to help support and find ways to work together. Right. Now, there are moments where we feel like we could take the step further. And to be honest, there's people doing it on their own without a label platform that still helps this community ecosystem. That's kind of why we're doing the 116 Life anyway. So I say all that to say, everybody that's popping on socials, Christian hip hop artists, R&B artists, drill, whatever, Dre be on it quick. Like he's faster. You so fast. I be late.
Yeah.
And
I got a game I play. So Hovey in One Day is the most amazing A&Rs.
Facts.
in this camp, right? So my game is if I could beat Hovey in 1 day at following this artist, then I'm ahead of the curve.
Right. I mean? And so Dre found DKG.KIE, which when Dre finds artists, he hits the A&R chat, me and Alex, and again, speaking the 116 Life, it's about faith, music, culture. But before we get into the faith part and the culture part, it starts with the music. And Dre, tell us a little bit how you found KIE, and then KIE, I want you to just let us know who you are for real. Sure.
But so KIE kept getting sent to my DMs. Like there was a couple people that sent KIE to my DMs. I didn't really pick up on it at the time. And then I went to San Antonio with Big Breeze. And we were out there, and I met KIE. The first thing that I liked about him was his personality.
Wow.
I just thought he was a cool, like, laid back person.
I mean, within like 10 minutes of meeting, I can actually like watch a basketball game with this dude.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We cool in it. Yeah.
So that's what it was. I was like, oh, he cool people.
Yeah.
And once I seen that he was cool people, then I was willing to like, okay, let me see what his music sound like.
Okay.
And then so once he got on stage, I was in the back, and I heard him on stage, and I just hear the crowd.
Whoa.
I'm like, yo, this boy going crazy out there.
That's crazy.
So I go out there, he like jumping in the audience, like the audience isn't super engaged.
That's crazy. Love it.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is a star.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Immediately the songs were amazing. And then we got to talking in the car a little more. And then I just realized, like, on top of him being a star, like, oh, he's really humble too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what really sells me on the artist, definitely in the Christian spaces, because it's like, who are they in Christ? Like, how are they moving? How do they show Christ through themselves? You know what I mean?
I love that.
And that's what makes me want to commit and help after that. So it was all personality for me.
I mean, personality and character. That goes before, again, faith, culture, and music. The music is important, but, sense and character, I think, is also a main point. So DKG.KIE, why don't you tell them who you are, where you from? We got about a couple minutes on this segment, but I think it'd be good for people to just hear, like, as much as you can, everything about what you got going on, man.
For sure. Man, DKG.KIE from Detroit, man, 313.
Hey.
Yeah, I really never really wanted to be a rapper for real. Like,
whoa.
Growing up, I tried it when I was like 12, and my parents was just like, bro, this ain't Christian music. Like, you ain't got it. You know, I never had a musical bone in my body. So I was a basketball player. So I was hooping. I was a star basketball player. A lot of people heard some of that testimony. So I ended up going to college.
You got recruited to college? Oh, yeah. What school, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I went to Spring Arbor University. It's a Christian school. And then I transferred and went to, well, I ain't gonna say that name because I might gotta say something about that school later on.
Hey, they got some little smoke. They got.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I went to.
Give us the acronym.
OU.
Oh,
yeah. It's a couple of them though. It's a couple of them.
Okay,
but
keep
yeah.
going.
So I went there, transferred to play for them, and that's kind of like when I jumped off the porch, so to say.
Okay.
Because like I said, I grew up. My parents was pastors, and they made sure that we kind of had a sheltered home.
Right.
Like they would let me go off and do whatever, and I'm from Detroit, so I'm gonna see certain stuff.
For sure.
It's just gonna happen. But yeah, so when I got to college, I'm by myself. So I'm like, bro, I'm about to, and I'm a star hooper. So it's like, bro, I'm about to, So yeah, I'm doing some. I did some of everything, and end up getting kicked out of that school my sophomore year.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like from academics or behavior. What?
Both.
Can you talk a little bit about if you don't?
Yeah, no, for sure. Man, it's crazy to even talk about it because how far I am now. But
sorry if I'm
No, it's cool. But yeah, so pretty much halfway through the season, I just stopped caring about school in general.
Right.
Because I'm partying, I'm doing some of everything. We going to parties, we fighting all the time. It's just whatever. And then also, I got in trouble for like they had found out I was also selling weed and smoking a lot, which obviously NCAA, you can't be, you know what I'm saying? You can't do none of that.
NCAA does not play.
Not at all, whatsoever. So yeah, they gave me a couple chances, but I was just hard-headed at the time. Like, and I just kept going. I knew better, but I just, kept doing what I was doing just to say that I did, and when I got kicked out, I thought about going to the military. I thought about all type of stuff. So my parents was like, they had a family, that the business that they ran back then, it was like, bro, you might as well just come down here with us, help run this business, X, Y, and Z. So that's what I did for a minute. Long story short, half my family from Indiana. So
okay, what city?
Indianapolis.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, it was a night that my cousin had asked me to end up going. He had ended up asking me to go out to the club, but even in my mess, like I could always hear God, like
facts.
So
Love
I just kept hearing like, don't go. Don't go. So I'm telling him like, bro, let's just not go tonight. And he just, being hard-headed cousin, he like, nah, bro, I'm about to go anyway. I get a call like 4 a.m. from my mama like, man, they gunned him down, execution style. So I know for a fact if I would have been with him, that would have been me.
You too.
So it was like a wake-up call that right after that, at the day of his funeral, got arrested for doing some other stuff.
The day of his funeral?
Yep, the day of his funeral.
Like after the funeral?
After the funeral, yep. Me and my cousins, we had went to the club and got into it.
Then was it the club after the funeral? Yeah. Was it y'all trying to grieve? Or okay.
Yep.
Sometimes the pain makes you do...
Exactly.
I get it.
It was so stupid.
That's what you process it how you know how to do it.
So I ended up getting arrested that night. Man, that was just my last situation. I'm just like, bro, God, if you get me out of this, it was one of them. It was one of them moments, one of them promise prayers. Like, God, if you get me out of this, I ain't going back. And the cop just looked at me and was like, bro, something different about you.
Really?
Yeah. Like he just looked at me like, you ain't supposed to be here. Like all these other people, I can't speak for, but you're different. So I ended up getting off, no charges, thanks be to God, no record.
Shout out God, Joe.
And it was supposed to be some
slid
stuff,
through, man.
Yeah, and I ended up getting off. Long story short, came back home to Detroit and really, really got saved for real. Like found my own relationship with God. Started youth pastor maybe about a year after that. And then about a year and a half after that is when I just kind of fell into rapping. Like just literally
amazing,
fell
bro.
into it. And yeah, so it's been like a year and maybe 8 months since I've been rapping for real.
I just had to pause to just unpack and decompress. We could probably get into it more in the next segment, but that's just a lot. Your story was, you said it. You said a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of like sitting with everything and seeing how, God brought you through, bro. Your cousin was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you just decided, well, you were being, mindful of the voice of the Lord. And you just didn't go. And now you're sitting here going up, going crazy, making music for the Lord. That's amazing. We're gonna get into more of your story, man, in the next segment. But this is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris. This is my man, DKG.KIE, my man, Dre Hunter. Y'all stay tuned. We'll come back right after this break. Welcome back. This is the 116 Life Holy Culture Radio Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris. And I'm here with my man, DKG.KIE, Dre Hunter. And we just heard an amazing, I don't want to say story, I say testimony about how DKG.KIE, his upbringing, where he was raised and how he came to the Lord. And we were just talking on the break how like sometimes, God just, in his supernatural power, he looks out for his children. He goes and gets them on some like, you didn't come to God. God came to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I'm pulling you out of this mess. So that's super dope that you said that. And also hearing how Dre introduced us to Kai. So yeah, man. So tell us what your name stand for. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell us everything about that. I want to just get into that a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to the whole Demon Killer gang, man, for sure. But yeah, that's what DKG stands for. Long story short, the way I came up with it, when I first started doing music, Project was in the studio with Zanti.
That's I Project producer.
Yep,
okay,
yep.
Producer I Project.
Yep,
shout out
Project.
To he's hard, by the way.
Yeah, so he was in the studio with Zanti. Zanti came to Detroit to finish his album that he just released last year.
Yeah.
And nobody knew who I was. I had just started rapping for real. Project always saw potential in me. Like, he always wanted to work, just waited for the right time. He calls me. He like, hey, Zanti at the studio, get here right now. I'm like, I'm just looking at the phone like, bro, don't nobody even know who I am. Like, I ain't got no projects out. I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I get in the car, go straight to the studio, meet Zanti. Long story short, we knock out the guy my steps on in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
So we met, we just vibed out for real. He was like, bro, I like you. Like, come to Nashville. I want to talk to you about some stuff. So I get to Nashville. He was like, bro, like, you got to like brand yourself. Like, you crazy. Like, you a star for real. Like, you got all of this going on, but you got to like box it in. So I'm okay, cool. So he was like, bro, because I was going by just Kai at the time. Okay. So he like, bro, you got to put some like initials or something before your name. So I'm like, all right, like, cool. So he was like, bro, you always talk about killing demons. Like, it seemed like that, like, that's what you standing on for real. That's your brand. So like, maybe just DKG. So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. And I wrote it out. I'm like, bro, ugh. Like, I just didn't like how it looked.
I feel you. Yeah. The phonetics, the vibes. Yeah. You from Detroit. You a player, bro. You gotta be smooth.
For sure. So I'm like, bro, I don't like how that looked for real. So I just started playing with it, and I thought about it. Like, I'm like, man, like, one day I really want to have my own collective. Like, so I'm like, you know what, bro, I'm about to, what about Demon Killer Gang? And like a light bulb just went off. And he was like, bro, that's it. And we went on with it and we ran with it. So now we got the collective going crazy right now in Detroit, man.
Yo, everybody's in Detroit?
Yep.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yep.
And Dre, you found DKG through, like, I think, didn't Drewski, like, tell me, maybe tell the story, help me understand, like, how that happened.
So I know you were telling me the story in San Antonio about Drewski.
Yeah, that was crazy. So Christian drill music was like, that you already like was working on a song and you just knew, like, oh, this the one.
Yeah.
So I got halfway through recording Christian drill music. I recorded it at my house, like no studio, no nothing. I just woke up on my sleep.
You engineer yourself? Mm-hmm. Oh, you about that life?
Yeah, I do my own videos and everything, man. Like I love the artwork behind it, you know?
Love that, man.
So yeah, I'm engineering myself. I woke up at like 3, 4 in the morning and I knocked Christian drill music out and I'm like halfway through the song. And when I got the hook, I just started punching it in. This that real music. This that Christian drill music. I'm like, man, like, this could be an anthem. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm put it out. I let people hear it, and they was like, bro, yeah, you got to do this. So I put it out, and then I put it on my album, and it just didn't do nothing. So I'm like, bro, like, what? So I'm looking at God like, all right, well, I noticed the one, so what's about to happen?
Right.
All of a sudden, man, shout out to Tiff White. I never met her in person, but
Tiff White, okay.
Yeah, we homies on like social media.
Okay.
She randomly didn't know who this girl was. She didn't know me. She heard the song. And posted it on TikTok, and it just went stupid. Like 1 million likes, I think it's at right now on TikTok. Probably like 10 million views.
And what was that, a music video or was that a?
So I'm getting to that. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just the audio, no music video. Like I wasn't even gonna shoot a video for it because I was tired of shooting videos because I edit myself. Like I do everything myself. So I was getting so tired of doing that.
He one of them machines, Dre.
No, facts. I was so tired of doing all that and putting that work in and people not appreciating it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to do that for Christian drill music. So I just did the audio. Yeah. And when she put it up and it went viral on TikTok, then somebody snatched her video off TikTok, put it on Twitter, then it went viral on Twitter. So I'm talking to my people. I'm like, bro, we got to get a video to this like ASAP. So we shoot the video, and the day
how fast y'all shoot the video from that moment? I just want to
how long did it come together?
Yeah, how fast was the video out from when it went to Twitter?
Oh, from that moment?
Yeah.
Probably like a week.
Okay.
Yeah, like
artists.
Yeah,
I just want to like walk this. This is like a master class in how to be self-made independent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm sitting back and I'm like I'm hitting my homies. We thinking of ideas like, what can we do? Let's get some Hellcats. Let's get this and the third. And I'm like, nah, like let me direct this. I got this. Like I know what I'm gonna do. Let's keep it simple. Right. Like let's throw some little, whatever in there, some hints. And we shoot the video. And the day that the video is slated to drop, I check my Apple Music. And I finally hit 1 million all-time streams. So that was huge for me. So, and it's the day that the song the video about to drop. The video about to come out, I posted on TikTok, which I never do. I always post on TikTok when the video or the song is already out. But something told me, again, listening to God,
right?
Put it out, like put the snippet out. I put the snippet out. We all watching the video, like as it's premiering. We at one of my homegirls' house. Shout out to Zoe back in Detroit. We all at Zoe's house and we watching it on the TV. And my phone just started going off. I'm getting calls like, hey, bro, you famous. I'm like, what? So I'm looking at the phone, I'm like, bro, stop playing. I'm thinking they just seen the video, and you know what I'm saying, making jokes. So I'm like, man, whatever. So I put the phone down. I hung up on my boy Roy, and he called me back like 3 times. I'm like, bro, what do you want? And he always playing, so I'm not taking it serious. He like, bro, check your DM. Like, Drewski just posted you. So I'm like, what? So then I'm getting other calls from everybody else. Then my Instagram blowing up. So we all like, everybody gathered around me at this point. So we looking. And like, as soon as I open my phone, everybody in the house like, bro, it's up. Like, this is what we need. So that was like kind of like my big break, so to speak. Like, that was what gave me exposure, because normally Drewski would post an artist and kind of like flame him or like laugh and all that. But it wasn't that type of energy.
What was he saying?
It was like, he said something about like the Bible Blicky bar, right? So when, of course, that got a lot of traction. So all the comments, though, I'm thinking the comments about to be on my head. Like, oh, this corny, da-da-da. People in the comments like, bro, if this is what church music is, I'm going to church on Sunday. Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, they was going crazy in the comments. So I'm like, yo, like, we really got something. Like, we got the power to really kind of change the culture, and change the narrative. Like, especially, like I said, for Detroit, like, it's some Christian rappers in Detroit, but to make it how I'm making it right now, like, besides Portia, I can't name nobody else for real.
That's so dope, bro.
Yeah.
That's so dope. I mean, like, there's a lot to unpack there, man. Just hearing, like, your hustle, your work ethic. And then also talk about, because some people, that's the upside, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about this before, Dre. I think you addressed it on your socials.
Yeah.
Some people are just honestly, they're taking it back. This is like for some, I'm pretty even kill. I am like, you rocking for the Lord, you making music. It's not that deep.
For sure, yeah.
Why do people have an issue with Demon Killer Gang? Why do you think people have an issue with like that, the name, the usage, and tell us what you mean by that? You know what I'm saying?
People always have a problem with something when they're not like used to it. People don't like change. So when you used to seeing something done one way, it's even like, and not comparing myself to Jesus whatsoever, but I use this as an example all the time. It's funny how like even when Jesus came, and obviously we know he was preaching the gospel, he was doing what was right, but the Pharisees, because it was different, because he was talking in parables and he was doing things that people hadn't seen, they automatically demonized it. Right. And the church has a habit of doing that because it's different. Even when Cray first came out, like I studied his journey when he first came out, like they was talking about he wasn't a Christian rapper. He wasn't saying nothing about no Bible, blicky, killing demons, nothing. Like he really standing on what's his, like. Yeah. So when people, like I said, people wasn't really used to, hearing nobody talk like that. And like I said, again, being from Detroit, even Detroit secular music, like, it's just we have a thing for, I'm going to say what I want to say. Like, if this is what I believe in, this is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to tailor it to fit your perspective, your box. So they got
dope. I love that.
Yeah, and I think that's really why they got the issue with it, just because it's different. But to kill a demon really means, I'm so glad we talking about this.
Yeah, because I think you had did a post on your, and I was like DKG gang all day.
Yeah,
I was, because I think it's, look, I have friends that they have a theological disagreement about the use of that term in rap, and it's like it's more of a semantic thing, honestly, more than like a theology thing. Yeah. Why don't you explain what you mean by demon killer and what you mean by that?
Demon to kill a demon, right? I don't know what anybody else mean when they say that, but for me, to kill a demon really means like every day we struggle with demons. Like every morning we wake up and it's things that's trying to pull us away from God. No matter what that is, that could be pride, that could be lust, that could be lying spirit, whatever it may be. You always have something that's trying to pull you away from God. So that's your demon. So to kill that demon is literally you doing things like spiritual maintenance, fasting, praying, you know what I'm saying, making sure you have godly community around you. Like that's what killing a demon is. But for me, in music, we use analogies all the time. Like somebody will say, I got so much faith, it feel like I'm walking on water. You're not actually walking on water. It's just an analogy. Or saying, God brought me back to life. I'm like Lazarus. You weren't dead, actually.
Right.
You might have been, metaphorically.
Gotcha.
So it's the same thing with the music, but it's so graphic. When people hear kill, it's automatically like shock value. Like, oh, shoot. Even with drill. Like, because it's such a, what Chief Keef did with drill music, really like, it's a bad stigma around drill music. So when people hear drill, they don't even understand how that could be Christian, but it is. Drill is really just a sound. Like that's really what it is. So you can have Christian drill music, you can have other religious drill music, whatever. Drill music is just that sound. So yeah, that's like I said, that's really what it means to kill a demon. And I knew what I was doing though. Like when we was sitting in the studio before anybody knew me, like I'm talking about, I probably had 100 monthly listeners. We saw this before it ever happened. We would sit in the studio, probably like 5 of me and my homies, and we all on the same page. They like, bro, you gonna do it for Detroit. Like, you gonna knock down the door for everybody that look and sound like us and that wanted people. Like, growing up, we wanted something like this.
Wow.
But it just wasn't there. Like, it seemed like it was like kind of things would be sugarcoated a little bit. We wanted somebody that was just in your face with it, that was gonna say some controversial stuff, that was gonna come crazy, but like really stand for God at the same time.
That's hard, bro.
So yeah, we saw it at an early stage in my career, and they said it. All my homies would be like, bro, you gonna get flack for it, but like it's cool. Like we from Detroit, like we standing on business. Like
I feel you. Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
come on,
for real.
Well, and Dre, why do you think it's important for artists like DKG to stand on what they on and be like? Why is it what he's saying important for our space and for some of the people who are just, to be blunt, put off or intimidated? Like why is a DKG necessary for culture? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like a lot of hip hop music is Black culture, and a lot of Black people haven't seen things that look like them. It's a certain like financial status that you come from. You experience the world differently,
right?
And I think now, like artists like DKG, Big Breeze, 1KP Son, Few, I think they're speaking from our perspectives who came from that,
right? Who
came out of poverty or came out the hood. You know what I'm saying? So we're finally hearing ourselves in Christian music, and they're telling our stories while they're also praising Christ and giving the glory back to God. So that's something that too, I feel like it's gonna save a lot of souls too. A lot of people that have amazing gifts and talents is going to see how to use their gift for Christ. Because it's like, we don't want to do pop music or we don't want to do CCM. We still want to do hip hop, and we still wanted to be cool, and we still wanted to have a certain swag to it. And artists like DKG, Breeze, Few, all the people I named is showing these kids how to create that music and still give God the glory, you know what I mean, in it. And so it's important to have these examples for our culture to grow. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's faith, music, and culture. I'm always a fan of nuance, diversity, and expression, and delivery. And we have to just acknowledge that everybody's not gonna express it the same. Everybody's not gonna agree on everything. But in your heart of hearts, I'm hearing a sincere dude being out here repping the Lord in his own way. So I also want to get into more on this next segment, what you got going on now. But yeah, stay tuned. This is the 116 Life of Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I am your host, Ace Harris. It's my man DKG.KIE, my man Dre Hunter. We're gonna tap in after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris, here with my man DKG.KIE and Dre Hunter. And we're just having this is like barbershop talk, but this is like real talk. This is ministry talk, faith talk, music talk, culture talk, and I feel like I'm hanging with my bros right now,
sure.
really getting into like some real stuff. And sometimes these conversations happen a lot on the sideline of in the alleys of our studios, Dre. They happen in the silos of the office space, happen in the group chats, but they don't happen enough on these kind of platforms.
Yeah.
I just want to affirm you, bro, and say like, bro, you're authentically who you are, and you already know this, so you don't need my permission. But I just want to encourage you to like God can work through people basically on the way He has them to see His glory be manifested, to reach those who may not be reached by other people's expression. And I feel like, just I think we need to give space. Specifically, I'm speaking to Christian hip hop too, because I know I got a little like, people may say I have a little like snobbery energy, or a little like we the theological, righteous ones. It's like, and I think Christian hip hop has got better at getting off that high horse. But seeing people like you, DKG.KIE, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If we pull up to do some ministry and fellowship in certain spaces, bro, they're not listening to me. They ain't listening to me. And honestly, they probably ain't listening to Lil Cray either. They gonna tap in with you.
For sure.
They gonna see how you dress, how you dripped out. You know what I'm saying? Got your braids. How you talking about killing Dean, but you literally are unashamedly 116 like unashamed like. You're preaching the gospel, bro. I mean, why are we so upset? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to give space. So anyway, I wanted to. You had a line in your song. I don't know if it's some hood jumping, but you said something like, "I make Christian bangers for the hood homies." Talk about that. Like, what you mean? Like,
for sure. Like, man, I hate I can't remember that exact bar, but it was something along the lines of that. Like, I do though. Like, I make music for everybody for sure. Like, cause like I said, I'm definitely doing a better job at that now. Like, being more versatile. So I got stuff. I'm about to drop a whole worship tape. Like, that's an exclusive.
Oh, yo, we gotta tap in on that.
Got the exclusive.
Some drill worship.
Yeah, you gonna love it,
bro.
For real.
You gonna love it. You see my sight in my eyes. All right, that's my bag.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I'm trying to definitely expand. Just to grab every audience, but my heart though is like for the people that get looked over. And like I said, I feel like with church culture, with Christian hip hop culture, a lot of times it is them hood homies that get
let's call it what it is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's
call
the
it what
ones
it is.
that don't look like, cause y'all can't see it, but I'm tatted up all the time. I got 2 sleeves dang near. So it's like
I feel you.
I go somewhere, even when I used to work for, this is a quick little story. This just kind of put things in perspective for me, and it was wild. I used to work for Amazon. Thank God he delivered.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Thank
you, Lord.
That's a real heart. Y'all don't see this? This is like unashamed.
No, at least, man.
Grateful to God.
No, for real, that's all God. But yeah, man, I was working for Amazon, and I just remember being in this prestigious neighborhood, is what I'll say. And I had short sleeves on. Mind you, like my hair wasn't out. Like you couldn't see my hair or nothing like that, but you could see my tattoos. Mind you, I'm in an Amazon vest, like in the Amazon truck. So you know what I'm coming here to do. The lady come outside and she opens up the door and then she automatically like grabs her kid, and like was acting like so afraid. Mind you, I'm like, okay, maybe you just like, it was a jump scare. But then it, like the expression stayed on her face.
Yeah.
And I say that to say this, like, that's how it feels in Christian rap sometimes. Like, that's how it feels when I'm on TikTok and I post my stuff and then I got all these Pharisees in my comments, talking about, oh, you going to hell for doing this, you going to hell for doing that, X, Y, and Z, or you talking about killing, like, you're not even trying to hear me out. Like, that lady wouldn't even gave me a fair chance. She never would have gave me a fair chance. And it's the same thing with, like I said, some of the people in Christian rap, like they won't even give my music a shot just because of how it sound. Or as soon as you hear the bass line, you know what I'm saying, it sounds like something that you've heard on the secular radio. So you won't even give me a shot.
What could we do better as leaders in this space to help make room for people that come from spaces like you? You know what I'm saying? Help me, because I think there is, I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
Yeah.
Sometimes white America, white Christian culture, white evangelical culture doesn't understand the nuances of blackness in America. I'm from the suburbs, 2-parent household, only black kid in my class till 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? My parents weren't rich, but I grew up, but my church was in the hood on Sundays. So Fuse Church House Trap House song speaks to my story specifically because literally in the hood on every Sunday, I'd be in the hood at church. There was literally a trap house across the street from the church. So the kids who are in church and in Christian culture, and I'm not here to shame a lot of our base comes from those spaces, those communities. We appreciate y'all. I affirm y'all. I'm just saying, people like DKG, they wasn't going to like Christian youth camps at conference with these big old stages and festivals and productions, and wasn't their youth church experience. So we just need to give space for people to know that the Christian experience as a black man and the black church in the hood, in these streets, it's going to look and feel different. So we just need to not be so critical and judgmental. And this is not just to my white brothers and sisters. This is also to my black suburban kids too, who like come from like, I call it like Cosby kids and Evans kids. I see it clear as day because I'm like, I still have my blind spots, but I'm like, again, my church is in the trap, and I'm like, hold up, why? I learned quickly, like, there's two sides of America. There's like upbringing, and there's like poverty and chaos. And so we just need to make room for that. See, I just had to get that off, you know?
No, for sure. Like, I appreciate y'all for what y'all doing, though. Like, because going back to the question that you asked, like, what can y'all do better? I think y'all doing it. Like, and the reason I say that is because, I'm gonna be honest, when I first started making music, bro, this is me just being totally transparent. When I first started making music and I knew what I wanted to really go full-fledged in the Christian rap thing, I just sat back one day and had a moment, because, like, when you do Christian rap, you automatically think reach. Like, the way I make it is to go to reach. Like, I'm gonna know I made it when I get to reach. Like, like that's just you know the stigma. And in a lot of cases, that is true. Like, for real. Like, what y'all doing here is amazing. But I said it to say this. I sat back one day and I realized, I'm like, reach ain't gonna touch me. For real. Like, I had a couple moments where I just sat back on my bed or like at the studio and I'm talking to my homies and I'm like, but they ain't ever gonna reach out to me. Like, I'm gonna just have to thug it out myself. Like, for real. So it's like, I said it to say this, with y'all actually giving me a shot, you know, like, I appreciate that, for real. Because like I said, y'all didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dre could have just, like a lot of people do, be undercover with me and hit me on the DM like, hey bro, you hard. But like, never, gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like fake support. It's I want to make sure that when he popped, he could say I was there. That's it. I was, But we have, this is why I push back on even Christians. Our support needs to show up in our hands. Exactly. So like, and again, we're not saying we sign it. It's not even about signing. It's about supporting and platforming, equipping. Because look, Reach Records is not the golden standard. It's like, but like I said, there's people that you speak to that our audience may be a little like, our predominant. I don't want to speak, but our predominant. They're a little like, it's new to them. But I know in my heart, when I go to Cleveland Avenue, when I go to Vine City, when I'm serving in the, bruh, some of the music that is in Christian hip hop just may not resonate with them, honestly. Right. It just not. You know what I'm saying? Because you talking about, I said after I ask this last line, you say the word Bible blicky a lot. It's actually kind of, we can turn it on a lighthearted note. Yeah, for sure. So what? You make a lot of Christian lifestyle music. Like, sure. I was listening, I'm like, okay, he's talking about Bible blicky babies, dating. Okay, I'm like a married dude, like 12 years. So I'm like, but at the same time, I was like dating at 25, trying to date my Christian wife. It's okay. We do a little lifestyle. It's low key like a Songs of Solomon type, but not like that. No, I got an R&B joint that's coming soon too. Oh, word! Crazy. Talk to us a little bit about why that's important too. Well, like Christian lifestyle music that's not content wise always about edifying and killing our demons, but it's also just you being a Christian, dating women, respecting women. You know? Sure. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I'm a real artist, bro. Like, people look at me and just think, oh, he's just a drill rapper. Like, he's just a rapper. Like, no, I'm not a rapper. I'm an artist. And the reason I say that is, like, I'll go to the studio. It's hard for me. Like, you can't just tell me, hey, make a song about this today. Like, I gotta feel something. You know what I'm saying? So that's where y'all get the Bible blicky babies. Like, because in my head, I'm like, man, I gotta give me a little like, I gotta get me something like that's gonna be really supportive, that's gonna love God for real, but she gotta have that swag. And I'm really talking to my homies about that. And I go to the studio, I'm like, shoot, I'm about to just make a song about it. I'm about to just, you know. So it's like that lifestyle music is important because it gives people, like I said, is not a break from everything else, but sometimes you want to hear a Christian perspective on just real life stuff. Facts. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love like Christian podcasts, because it's not a sermon. Like,
facts.
You know what I'm
but
saying?
This is ministry, though.
Yeah, it's ministry. It's because I get to hear, that's why, like I said, but even when y'all asked me to be on this, I couldn't believe it. I got in the car and called my parents because I watch it for real. Like I watch this show just because like I like to hear other people's perspective on, just real life stuff.
For sure, absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Dre, you got any thoughts for Kai? Because I want him to. I have something. I'm gonna ask him. I'm probably gonna take a.
I did want you to kind of share your story of how you went from Amazon to now you're a full-time artist. I think that'll inspire some of our listeners.
Okay, for sure. Real quick, the last time I was at Reach, this is a very transparent moment. The last time I was at Reach was, what was that, April? Yeah,
it was April.
Yeah, so I came down here for a show, and we did a couple sessions and stuff like that. So I'm down here, and my the boss at Amazon at the time, I was literally like coming home every day, like, bro, I gotta get off this job. Like, I know this ain't what God is meaning for me to do, especially like I do everything with my career. So it's like, how can I do all these videos, do all this X, Y, and Z, and still be working a full-time job? So I came down here, and then me and Breeze was talking. I'm like, bro, I got to figure something out. And he was like, bro, be careful, like, what you wish for, because you know how Breeze be.
Yeah.
Hey, God funny, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? God funny. So, and I'm like, I didn't really catch what he was saying, so I just kind of laughed it off and was like, all right, you not understanding, bro. Like, I ain't trying to go back to the job. And I get on the plane, and I feel like I heard God say, like, this is going to be your last week with Amazon.
Wow.
So I'm like, man, whatever. That's just my head. So I literally, man, this is so crazy. I get off the plane imagine how this feel. I get to Atlanta, I go to Reach, knock down like one of my childhood dreams to come here. Then I go do a show. I'm crowd surfing, literally, like signing autographs, all this. Then get off the plane, jump into an Amazon van. So I'm like, bro, what? Like, what am I doing? Like, this don't even make sense. The next day, my boss called me like, man, your schedule too crazy. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, we gotta let you go.
Wow.
Like scheduling.
That's crazy.
And what really made me mad was that he brought up me being at Reach. Like, he seen it on Instagram.
Oh, good.
His son did. So he was like, oh man, you'll be fine. Like, y'all seen you at the
his son tapped in?
Yeah. That was even crazier though, because now I'm going to work and people know who I am. I was so upset, bro. I'll be in the yard.
Tell your manager, it may look one way, but the climb is a little.
You know what I'm saying? So they thinking like, I got to Reach money, bro. I ain't even signed to them. Like, this is just like an experience for me. Like, I'm just here working on some stuff. So yeah, man, it was crazy. So when he let me go, I'm sitting there and I'm like, bro, what am I about to do? Long story short, like a week later, DistroKid, I checked my DistroKid account and I did the math on like where my streams have been going and where they at consistently. And I'm like, whoa, like they just sent me this? I'm like, bro, this is double my Amazon check.
Wow.
Literally, like a week after. So when I tell you, bro, God, like, y'all can't tell me what God
shout out
can't
that
do.
DistroKid Ties line too. In one of your songs. I was like, that's a real.
Yeah.
Like, I said, just after DistroKid got to pay the ties.
You know what I'm
saying?
That's amazing. For sure.
Man. Thank you for asking that, Dre, or prompting that question. Well, DKG, I want you to just speak, man, one last note for the people, what you got going on, anything you want to encourage the people with, man. I know you're also like a youth pastor.
Yeah.
And you do ministry. What do you want to leave people with? And also let them know how they can find you, any new projects you got coming. But yeah, sure. Your floor is yours, my brother.
Man, the first part, what I got coming is a worship tape. It's not an album, but it's like 5 songs.
Okay.
And it's like worship/trap worship. So it's y'all gonna get a totally different side of me for sure. So that's what's coming. But beyond that, man, I just been working. Like, I really been trying to do my best to continue to stay consistent, especially now that, my life is literally dependent on this now.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But something to leave everybody with, man, it's 2 things. Come to God now. Like, and that sounds so elementary, but what I mean by that is, like, don't wait till you get yourself together, because you can't get yourself together. Like, come to God now. You don't wait till you're ready. And the last thing is, like, I want people to understand, like, my heart with this. My music may sound one way and I may look one way, but the reason I do this is the same reason that I started youth pastoring. I want to win souls for the kingdom of God. That's it. Like, if I said it in a song, if I stop winning souls, I'm done with this music. I'm done. Like, if I see that this stuff ain't working no more, and people ain't messing with it, people ain't getting saved, it's not bringing people closer to God, y'all got my word. Like, I'm done doing music.
Boy, that's a mic drop type statement, man. I appreciate that, man. Just your confidence. your artistry, and your I think leadership is the word I want to just wrap this conversation, because you move like a leader, and that's what I think what God calls all of us to lead in our faith, in our music, and in the culture that we exist in. That's the 116 life. You know what I'm saying? Lead well, love well, and live that out. So it's a great conversation, man. We gotta have you back when you come back in town. Dre, it was good happening with you, man, having you here. But yeah, this is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154, and that's a wrap, folks. Tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and yeah, let's get it. Demon Killer Gang in the building.
Demon Killer Gang.
All right, that's a wrap.